We are live. Helium's Hot Air Show, episode 9, coming at you from the studio. My name is Benjamin Thornburg, and beside me is a man who was only wrong twice last year, Brett Shelley.
Helium's Hot Air Show.
Did I miss one?
I think you did too. I think it was two. I'll check with our boss. Brett is famously not wrong about things, but I think it was twice. I think they count, which is one more than last year. We have a great show today. We've got two big Shopify announcements that are coming to a Shopify store near you. Big Shopify AI news, and it might actually end up being a paradigm shifter if it all goes according to plan and Shopify's predictions and the predictions of the internet at large. So, like a pelican hunting a sardine, we're just going to jump right in. Just boop. Have you ever seen that? They just go bloop. Have you not seen this? The coast. Go to the coast this summer. January 26, 2026 is the launch date for Shopify's Agentic AI search. For the merchants, Brett Shelley, watching or listening at home, what is Agentic AI shopping?
Yeah, Agentic commerce or Agentic shopping, I guess is what you're referring to here. Essentially is when instead of, going to your favorite brand's website, looking around for a product, you're going to go to your favorite AI chatbot, whether that's ChatGPT or Google Gemini,
Copilot,
whatever else is out there at this point, and you are just going to ask it what to buy or tell it what you want to buy. And that whole transaction is going to happen right there in the chat is the idea. It's not going to be like, hey, what should I buy? And then it's going to tell you what to buy. And then you go find it and buy it. No, the whole idea is that the whole transaction is right there. It's just going to help you buy it. Maybe a little pop-up that happens right there, or it's literally just, you tell the chatbot to buy it and it buys it and sends it to you.
Yeah, I love that. To add to that, just the reason why this is so important, I was poking around the internet this morning. In January 2026, so this month, 37% of consumers reported that they started their online searches with AI, and 44% of them said that they preferred AI search over like a Google. I was going to mention Bing, honorable mention to Bing, a Google or Bing search for our Microsoft lovers in the room. That's a big deal. We're talking 1 in 3 at this point of people when they're searching for something are starting with AI. I did an experiment this morning where I went out and I said, hey, I want to purchase this. And I gave it a bunch of parameters. To be very specific, I said, I would like to purchase a pickleball paddle. I want a high power pickleball paddle that's made in America. What can you do for me? And I asked ChatGPT, and it came up with the results that you would typically see at the top of a Google bar with the shopping. I clicked on one of those and it took me to an external link to purchase. But what we're talking about is you click that pickleball paddle picture, it tells you all about it, and it says, do you want to purchase this here in the AI search?
Seems like that's what we're headed for. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it seems like that's where we're headed.
So that brings up an interesting question, because there are some genuine concerns out there as merchants. I was reading one today that I'll actually just read it. It says, as a retail owner, this honestly keeps me up at night. If the customer is an AI bot and not a human, our high quality photos, emotional copywriting, and fancy UX don't matter anymore. The bot only cares about structured data, API speeds, and real-time inventory. That's kind of a big, whoa moment. And I know the truth is kind of in the middle, and I like how tempered you're being in your answers of just this might be the biggest thing since sliced pie. It might not be quite as extreme as that. What would you say to that merchant right there? What are things that a merchant can get ready for as we look down? Because it's coming. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it is tricky because at this point, I think it's a little bit too early to say. Obviously, there are things you can do to get ready, but we just don't know what this is going to look like. We don't know what reactions are going to be. We don't know in 6 months what the adoption of this is going to be. There's just so much new. Things are moving so quickly. So yeah, it is really hard to say. I think, the best thing you can do as a retailer, as a merchant right now is probably just kind of keep your ear to the ground and pay attention to what's happening so you don't miss things, and keep doing what works for you. but don't sleep on the new things that are coming out. If this agentic thing is coming out and people are using it, you're going to need to do some optimization. That we're essentially talking about like a new version of SEO, right? SEO is not a new concept. That's something that people have been doing for as long as people have been buying stuff on the internet, right? SEO has been a thing. You're optimizing to get found. But
the takeaway from that is optimize for SEO like you're currently doing. If you don't have a way to collect reviews underneath your products, or you're not actively using something for that in Shopify, you need to do that, because these LLMs are going to scrape all of that to try to put together a coherent picture of this is a great product.
And I think just to clarify on that, like, we're drawing a lot of parallels with SEO. I think this is going to be something new that is going to be a little bit different than standard SEO. So pay attention to that and optimize the things that need to be optimized for whatever this new thing looks like. These concerns of like high quality images, good reviews, good copywriting on a site, like somebody's going to figure out like, oh, maybe we should weight this product because it has high quality images as opposed to some, just terrible, stock image or something. That's something an AI can probably figure out, and like it can give it more weight potentially. So all those things that we think of as like more traditional things.
I think you're spot on, because you're just reading the room and saying this is what's happened with AI. I mean, you think about these pictures that it's creating that are full of emotion, and it's because we connect with that. And so your site is no different. The AI will be able to pick up on that, and if you're like this merchant that spent all that time and energy doing it, it will matter. The other thing that I will say as a tip, don't undervalue videos on your site. The more I search with AI and use AI search tools, the more it's pulling individual clips in videos. And you can do this. You can Google search. When I'm doing product research, it's pulling a specific sliver of 10 seconds in a giant video where it's speaking about the product that I'm searching. I would never have watched a 40-minute video on, again, pickleball paddles, but I want to know what that person had to say about this particular paddle, and AI can do that. And so it's pulling from the videos, and videos have a high value with these models, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's where it's going. So don't sleep on product videos, people reviewing your products, using your products online in videos, and you're linking those to your sites and products directly in your products page.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm not in the YouTubes and the video world as much as you are, but that is something that I've even been hearing. Just like AIs right now are looking to video content. They're heavily scraping that and like figuring out what's there. Text is so easy for them. I think it's just got everything it needs. So now they're moving on and they're trying to figure out what else they can get. And videos is something that I've heard is being hit really hard right now by AI and is consuming all of that content. And I mean, that's something that's been done in commerce for a long time now, right? Affiliates and, these product reviewers and TikTokers out there, all that kind of stuff. That's nothing new. That's nothing related to AI. All that kind of stuff, it's kind of what we're saying again is like all of these things that traditionally have worked, I think there's going to be a lot of crossover. There's obviously going to be change and mix up. But all these things that have worked in the past, like, it's not like AI is just going to suddenly destroy all of that. It's just going to keep picking up on those same things, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the second big piece of news. We have Patrick Milligan from Shopify. He's in charge of the customer accounts. He's a big
Patrick
deal.
is,
Hi, Patrick, if you're watching.
His
doing a great
official
job.
title is the product manager for customer accounts at Shopify.
Yeah, just had a baby, adorable. He tweeted out, big year for new customer accounts becoming the only customer accounts. LFG, lots of O's with the rocket ship emoji. Very excited about legacy customer accounts coming to a close. Brett Shelley, can you give us a 2-minute crash course on the difference between new customer accounts and legacy customer accounts.
Yeah, that's probably a good place to start. We'll just do the quick breakdown. So if you're not familiar, Shopify, it's been a couple years now, but they launched a system called new customer accounts, which has since turned into just regular customer accounts, just customer accounts.
They've changed the names.
The naming is confusing. We have customer accounts and legacy customer accounts, formerly known as classic customer accounts. It's hard to keep track of, but customer accounts is the new system. If you're on Shopify, you've probably seen it. The user, the customer goes and they just enter their email to sign up for an account. They get a code in their email and they're logged in. That's great. Legacy customer accounts or classic is like the old traditional system where the customer signs up with their email and a password. Yeah, they just sign in like that.
They create their password.
Yeah. They set a password and they log in with the email and password as opposed to using the emailed one-time passcode to log in. So that's kind of the biggest difference. Legacy customer accounts, as evidenced by the name that they've given it, is something we expect will go away at some point. There hasn't been a lot of information, so we're kind of driving blind here a little bit. It is interesting because right now we're seeing a lot more shops trying to get onto the customer accounts, the new version, because what Shopify is doing is they're releasing new features that are only compatible with this new customer accounts option. The problem, though, is that there's some functional differences and there's still some gaps. Biggest gap we're seeing right now is the customization of the new customer accounts. New customer accounts pages are hosted by Shopify. They're separate from your store. They're separate from your theme, and you have limited customization. The legacy customer accounts, they're built directly into your theme. You can customize it as much as you want. You have direct access to the code. You can go in there. You can do basically whatever you want. You are in complete control over it.
There are some really great examples of that. The InkyList.com, they have a great customer account thing that they're using legacy, and they've dressed that thing up.
So that is, I think, probably the biggest gap right now that we're seeing people struggle with. And then, so to kind of roll that back around, your question about like a use case for that, there's a lot of shops that have very bespoke, very like customized, tailored account portals, I guess you could say, where it's like they have all this customer information laid out. They maybe have like a rewards loyalty program, and that's just not all possible really with the new customer accounts.
There are other ways to do it.
It's getting closer. Shopify's been releasing more and more updates. More and more apps are starting to accommodate for this. So we are seeing more and more app compatibility. We're seeing Shopify, releasing more features, but there's a gap and people can't really move to the new system yet. Shopify is releasing new features. For example, there's a store credit feature where, like, if you're returning an item, for example, instead of refunding someone, you can give them store credit so they can buy something else.
Only available.
Right. Yeah, only available with the new customer accounts. There's some gaps there. We're still waiting. Haven't heard a lot. But yeah, you pointed out this was a Twitter post. Or sorry, an X post.
Yes, January 15th. So recent news here.
Yeah, there's little piece of information floating out there, little rumors coming around that maybe legacy accounts is going away sooner than later. I'm curious to see how that all goes.
It's really funny to watch Shopify because they'll announce something, nothing will happen, and then all of a sudden, boom! It just seems that way. Or they'll announce something and then they'll pivot behind the scenes, and we don't know, or we're not privy to those conversations. So we're going to keep our ears to the rails on that and update you. If you're a merchant and you're wondering, should I be on legacy customer accounts? Probably not. The majority of the use cases are going to be new customer accounts. And like Brett said, there are some amazing features that are just for new customer accounts. They're really trying to phase this out. So don't put your store in that position unless you absolutely have to. Just to let you all know that the head of customer accounts at Shopify is tweeting out that it's going to be a big year and legacy customer accounts might be going away. Now you know.
Yeah, so something to keep in mind. If you can, get over to new when you can. Personally, I'll say I wouldn't be that surprised if legacy sticks around for a while longer. We've seen this sometimes in the past with Shopify. A recent example is checkout customization. For a long time, there was something called checkout.liquid that Plus shops could shops on the Shopify Plus plan, they could go and access the checkout.liquid file directly in their theme, kind of like a legacy customer account system where it's built into the theme and they could do whatever they want. That was being deprecated. They were getting rid of it and wanting everyone to move to this new thing. The deadline for that got extended a couple times because, not everyone was doing it. Not everything was possible in the new system, and there was a lot of pushback, I think. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see that with kind of the similar situation with customer accounts. But
I'm curious if they just do legacy customer accounts for Plus merchants, if they just clamp it down unless you're
like you want to stay on this only for the high payers.
That would make sense to me because you're absolutely right. The high payers are the ones that can throw their elbows out and say no thank you, and Shopify
I don't know.
It feels like that.
We don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know.
Curious to see what shakes out there.
Brett, thank you so much. Final thing, question of the day. This one's really serious, so get ready. Why is it important after you've smoked a hamburger to reverse sear it?
It's a good question. How deep do we want to get here?
Let's like a pelican in the ocean.
I don't know what that means.
I'm gonna show him a video.
Does that mean deep or not?
Everyone
deep?
comment your favorite pelican hunting video.
I don't want to get too deep. We don't need to drag this out too long. Make sure if you're gonna smoke something like a burger, make sure you sear it when you're done. Get that nice little crispy on the outside. Give a little bit of a crust. You don't want those floppy, soggy burgers.
One time I fed him a floppy, soggy burger, and he was like, you should see it would be better if it was reverse seared. And then I did. I was angry because it was a delicious burger. It was on point, perfectly cooked, except for the reverse sear. It wasn't dried out, smoky flavor.
And then I changed his life.
And now I reverse sear all my burgers. It's really important. Another top tip, there's a free tip of the day. Reverse sear your smoked burgers. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and comment below your favorite pelican hunting video. And we will see you all next time. Bye.